Hi everyone, how are you doing? So today, guys, we are going to talk about the alimentary canal related to biology. So, what is alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is the way which the food passes through. After this food passed all the organs in the canal, this defines that food has been fully and completely digested. And all the useful minerals and nutrients coming from the food will be fully absorbed by different types of tissues. The organs which the food is going to pass through in order. So, as we are eating those foods, as we are using those foods, is going to enter our mouth, then passing through pharynx, passing through esophagus, reaching the stomach, and then bypassing. So those sphincter muscles, they are going to prevent the passage of food. So they are not going to let the food pass through stomach really quickly, and then small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and the anus. So the mouth, the first organ in the alimentary canal. In this organ, the food will be ingested. We have three types of these kind of stuffs: ingested, digested, and egestion. So in this organ, in this case, the food will be ingested using the teeth, tongues, and the lips in order to cut down, break down the foods. The tongue mixes the food with saliva, don't forget this, which includes amylase, mucus, and water that will be produced by the salivary glands, which also encourages the food to become bolus. So, this amylase, as you know, it's a type of enzyme in order to convert the starch into maltose, and also this mucus. It will encourage the food in order to become soft, so they can pass through different types of tissues, different types of organs much easier and much more quickly. And also the water, as you know. So these kind of things, which it is going to make saliva, it is going to produce saliva. It is going to be produced in salivary glands, which also encourage the food to become bolus. So it's no more the food, it's going to become the bolus. So now the esophagus. So this might come to your mind, the why didn't I talk about pharynx? And the exact reason for it is that pharynx did not have any main reason, doesn't have any main reason for it. It's only the passage of food. Nothing is going to happen there, nothing is going to start or end in that specific place. So I didn't talk about it. While the food reaches this organ, the esophagus the process of peristalsis starts, which is a series of wave-like muscle contractions, and these wave-like motions transport the food into different stations. So if there wouldn't be any wave-like muscle contractions, the food wouldn't be able in order to pass easily. So in this case, while the process of peristalsis is going on from esophagus until the end of alimentary canal, so they are going to encourage the food in order to pass much more quickly and, let's say, much more easier. Indeed. So the main reason that I didn't talk about pharynx is because they did not have any function for the food and the alimentary canal, as I said before. So as you can see in the picture, as the food is going to pass from the mouth, it is going to enter the pharynx, and then it's going to pass through our lungs, between our lungs, the main organ between our lungs, which is called esophagus, and then reaching the stomach that we are going to talk about just now. So we reach the stomach. So in stomach, the food mixes with enzymes and mucus. So as we said, the mucus is encourages the food to pass through the organs much easier and much more quickly. The mixture is called chyme. So as we said, in the mouth, the food becomes bolus, and in this case, the bolus becomes chyme. In this organ, different types of proteins will be chemically digested by certain types of enzymes, which the main protease, or let's say, which the main enzyme, which is going to break down the proteins, enzymes, in the stomach is called pepsin, with the pH scale of 2, which means it's really acidic, which causes the food in order to become acidic. That means since that food spent nearly 2 to 3 hours in acidic conditions, so it becomes acidic. Between each organ in the alimentary canal, there is a type of muscle. Don't forget this. So, between each organ in alimentary canal, so all the organs, not only stomach, there is a type of muscle called the sphincter muscle, which prevents the passage of food and encourages the food to remain stationary until it is completely digested. So after, for example, I'm saying only an example, as the food, or let's say as the bolus is passing through the esophagus in order to reach the stomach, between these two organs, there is a type of muscle, there's a type of tough muscle called sphincter muscle, which is going to prevent the passage of food. So the food is going to remain in stationary on that place until the food is completely digested. So in this case, that chyme is going to get ready in order to reach the small intestine. And as you can see in the picture, we talked about it. So, in small intestine, so let's talk about small intestine. This organ can be well known as the most effective part of the alimentary canal, since all types of enzymes can be found there. Protease, lipase, and carbohydrate. On these enzymes, as you know, as we talked about in our last video, they catalyze their own substrate, their own specific substrates. Different parts of small intestine. Duodenum, the first part, jejunum, the middle part, and the ileum, either the last part or the nearest to the large intestine. When that chyme coming from the stomach reaches the duodenum, the first part of small intestine, and it encounters with different types of enzymes. There is a tube connected to duodenum, which the pancreas and the bile are secreted. That means the organ of pancreas and the liver are secreted on that place, which these two are having different types of functions. And don't forget that these two organs, pancreas and liver, they are not a part of alimentary canal. But in some cases, in some type of pictures, they are shown, but they are not a part of alimentary canal, but they are really effective. So let's notice in general that for duodenum, trypsin, it's a kind of enzyme which breaks down protein molecules. Trypsin is the protease in duodenum. Lipase, really general, breaks down fats, and amylase, as I said before, which breaks down carbohydrates. And in this case, it breaks down starch to maltoses. And for ileum, the last part, either the last part or the nearest part to large intestine, the colon, peptidase is the protease. Peptidase, don't forget this. It's different from duodenum. And also lipase, which breaks down fats in general, and also maltase, which breaks down carbohydrates. So as you can see in the picture, there is some kind of tubes connected to the duodenum of small intestine, and these tube is going to be provided into the liver and the pancreas. So, and now let's talk about really specifically about pancreas and liver. These two organs are not considered as a part of alimentary canal. However, although they are connected to each other of the organs in the alimentary canal called small intestine. So they are connected to small intestine. They are joined together. The small intestine, the pancreas, and the liver by a tube. The pancreas releases the pancreatic juice, which contains hydrogen carbonate, in which this hydrogen carbonate neutralizes the acidic condition that the food includes. Because before they have been in touch with hydrochloric acid, as I said before, since in stomach, the enzymes, the main enzyme is called the pepsin, which is really acidic. And also hydrochloric acid, they exist in the stomach. So while these hydrochloric acids and these boluses are in touch with each other, so those boluses are going to be adapted in acidic conditions. So they become acidic. So in this case, the enzymes can catalyze those substrates much easier in the stomach, and also different types of enzymes for digestion. The liver produces the bile, which at first, this bile will be stored in the gallbladder. and being released through the small intestine. It has two main roles. So the first main role of it, it does the same thing which a hydrogen carbonate does, which includes and which consists in the pancreatic juice. As we said before, that they are going to neutralize since the bile is alkaline. So when these alkaline and acids are going to join together, they are going to be neutralized. So this main role of bile encourages that specific chyme in order to be neutralized. And also the second main role of it is called the process of emulsification. So it emulsifies, which means that it increases the surface area. So the fats can be digested quickly and much easier indeed. So now the last part, the last main part, let's say, the large intestine. So in this case, while that chyme enters the large intestine, so let's notice that all the enzymes are being they were being used before. So in this case, large intestine is not going to do like such a thing with the process of digestion. So in this organ, the excess water is absorbed back into the body, and what is left then it is undigested food. Let's say that thing which is left is those materials of the food which actually we don't need for our body. They are not useful, they are not necessary for our body, which is going to be stored in rectum until we get ready to go to the toilet. Finally, it comes out from the rectum through the anus. This process is called ingestion, as I said, the last part of the alimentary canal. So guys, thank you so much. That's all for today. Hope you a great day, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you haven't turned on the bell yet, please do it. So be ready for our next video.